So when a land agent or a broker like you is involved, what kind of commission is paid to you for your involvement in the deal? How long have you been working as a land agent like you do?
I got my real estate license and started working as a land agent for another broker about 19 years ago. As soon as enough time elapsed, I was able to take my broker's life test and became a land broker in 2012. 2010, started our own company, Recland Realty. I'm the owner and broker of it. I've got a lifetime friend who's a business partner. He and I own Recland together, but I'm the broker. And man, that's all we've been doing for the last 13, 14 years.
What were you doing before this? Like, what made you decide, I want to become a land broker specifically?
I live in Louisiana now, but we lived in the Carolinas, 20 years ago. I had a real job and I started doing some personal real estate deals on the side. I wasn't an agent. I was just buying and selling houses, on my own, having to do it kind of on the cheap. So I didn't have any money. So I was having to be real creative and, in doing deals. And my buddy here in Louisiana wanted to get into the land business. He just wanted to buy and sell his own stuff. And he and I talked and he said, man, why don't you come here and do what you're doing in the Carolinas? Just come here and do it in Louisiana and we'll just do land. And one thing sort of led to another. And I moved here with my family. We're from here, so it was an easy move. Started doing our own deals and one thing led to another. And I realized, not every deal that comes across my plate was something we wanted to do, but it was something somebody may want to do. And I'm going, if I had a real estate license, I could market this as a third party for somebody else. It won't work for us, but it may work for somebody else. And that's how I got into licensed real estate activity. And then it was pretty quick. I realized, hey, I need to have my own company. And he and I talked, and that was our goal. Was as soon as I had 2 years as a licensed agent in Louisiana, you could then become a broker. And so after those 2 years went by, we turned the switches on and started our own company. And so that's the short version of it, but that's been the progression. And now here we are. Recland is a huge part of what we do, but we still do our own personal deals, as well as I run a land brokerage, marketing property for other people.
And I think I know the answer to this, but I'll just ask this in case anybody listening is wondering this. So when I hear the term agent and then broker used, so what is the difference between that? Does a person start as an agent and then once you're a broker, are you like managing a group of agents or something, or what's the difference there?
Yeah, I manage 20 odd agents, and the way the license law works, a licensed agent has to be under the sponsorship and oversight of a licensed broker. It's just a structure system that creates a massive amount between licensee and the public. License law is a pretty sophisticated and serious thing, and the broker is that level of accountability between the public and the agent.
And how long does that last? Like, when does the agent get to, become a broker or do their own thing?
It's different in every state. In Louisiana, it used to be 2 years, and then they changed it to 4. Most states, or many states, I should say, are 4 years or more to be a licensed agent before you can become a broker. And hey, most agents don't do that, because when you become a broker, you're taking on the business side, you're taking on the responsibility side, the financial accountability side. And so most folks don't want to be a broker, and I don't blame them, so they'll operate as a licensed agent under a broker. And even licensed brokers can work as under another broker. Man or woman, the buck stops with them as the sponsoring broker.
So how many markets does Recland work in, or how many states?
Good question.
Maybe?
I knew you were going to ask it. We're licensed in 8 states: Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Texas. That's our primary. Missouri, Iowa in the Midwest. And then we're also licensed in Georgia. My company we're set up in Georgia. I just don't have any agents there yet.
I'm assuming there's, it's you and how many other agents?
22, 24, somewhere in the low to mid 20s. I'd have to write them all down and count them up.
So these people are kind of speckled throughout these states. They kind of have local expertise in those markets.
As far as the sheer number, most of let's call it 25, are in Louisiana and scattered around the state. But also us that are licensed in Louisiana, most of us are also licensed in Arkansas and Mississippi, this kind of Arklamiss region. And then I also have some Texas guys, and one of them is also licensed in Louisiana. And so we got some crossover there, which is helpful. I mean, state lines, my guy in Texas, he's 90 minutes from a big market in Louisiana. So it works out for him. And a lot of people are like that in land business. They're licensed in multiple states.
So when a land agent or a broker like you is involved, what kind of commission is paid to you for your involvement in the deal? Like, is there a standard percentage that always happens, or how does that work?
According to the public, there's always a standard percentage, because the residential commercial world sort of sets that out there and makes it appear like it's a set standard, but it's not. The number can be anything. Our typical deals are 5 or 6%. We have some large deals, maybe if we'll get a large package of deals, or maybe, a large timber tract or a farm, we might push that number down a little bit just to make it make sense to the seller. Maybe I've done some large deals that were 3.5, 4.5. It's a negotiable number. I got a lot of faults, but being greedy's never been one of them. And I'm a land buyer and seller myself. And so the commission's got to make sense, just to charge somebody, 6% on a $10 million farm. Come on, that's just a huge number, so I try to make it make sense for the seller because I'm a business person too, and I try to make it reasonable. But most of the time it's in that 5 to 6% range.
And you mentioned that you buy and sell your own land deals. Do you find those opportunities just in the course of your regular work when you're coming across opportunities, or are you like doing some kind of extracurricular marketing to find these people and find deals that way?
I find them in both ways. I find them, sometimes they just come across our plate as a normal course of business. Somebody has something for sale, they list it with us, and we look at it and go, well, doggone, that fits what we're wanting to do. So, one of my investor buddies or somebody like that, we'll just make the deal. Other times I swerve into properties that I find sort of on my own as I'm working on a listing. Maybe I see an adjacent property that I go, well, that's kind of cool. Let me look at that. And I look up who the owner is, and may send them a personal letter, that sort of thing. I have a systematic way of marketing for rec land, searching, getting listings, but I don't have a systematic full boat way of marketing for personal deals. There's just not enough time in the day, and I swerve into enough of those deals sort of on my own anyway.
And just to clarify, when you say rec land, do you mean a recreational land? Rec
land, yeah, some people look at it that way. It was just a cool name when I had to name the business, 15 years ago. I was coming, what's a good, I wanted the word land to be in it, so it'd be distinctive. And I wanted it to be short enough so that the website, recland.net, this shows you how far back I got. I wanted it to fit on one line of a classified in the newspaper. I saw some people that have this huge name for their website, and it would run over into 2 lines on a classified, which doesn't make good sense. So I'm going, okay, what's a word that kind of captures what we do, but it's short enough to fit on a classified? And that's where recland came from.